I would describe Willmott Dixon as a UK-based construction company, a real family feel to it. It's a really nice place to work.
I've worked in other companies before where they've talked about people or said that they're focused on people, but the key thing with Willmott Dixon is you feel it. So it's there in the culture, it's there in the leadership.
I've been with the company for over 20 years, joined it and stayed with it to this day because of the small company kind of feel you get across the board.
There was lots of different kind of ways in which the collaboration side of it and the planning was being captured and being distributed. Excel spreadsheets, post-it notes, Word documents. There was no real kind of standardised way of doing it.
From a business improvement perspective, we've got no data. So we've got nothing to tell us how we're actually performing in terms of the execution of our plan and the productivity of our people and our supply chain partners on site.
If we did lose any time on our programme, we wouldn't know about it until it was too late. We would report on a monthly cycle. The information is out of date, so you can't really do a lot. It was really reactive.
The biggest impact really was timeliness of data. So it would take time to get the data off the field, get it into a format that we could interpret, use it, and then distribute it.
So the reason why we've adopted Nialli in Willmott Dixon is it's a really simple tool, but it also gives us all the benefits of a digital tool, the data that comes from it, but in the most simple way possible. So transitioning a team from a traditional approach where they're using a physical wall with sticky notes and paper on to a digital wall with sticky notes and swim lanes on is really simple.
It's still that same buy-in as writing the post-it note and putting it on the wall. You're just writing it on a laptop and putting it onto a digital version. Some of the older generation as well being a little bit of a technophobe, shall we say, who don't like it, but once they get onto it and they realise actually this is really quite easy, it's literally a couple of clicks, a few words, and then it just does it all for you.
Willmott Dixon were an ideal partner for piloting and then scaling Nialli because it was clear, having started speaking to them on their first couple of projects, that they had a vision behind how they wanted to implement digitised collaborative planning, and then relatively early into the initial projects, beginning to start to understand the value of the data that can be captured when you get 100% adoption of the collaborative planning process through the Nialli software.
Trying to get people to move from something they're quite comfortable with to something new and digital has taken time. What we have found is that where the teams have started to recognise that there's a benefit for their own time and taking away that admin burden, that they've really started to adopt it.
But once they've got on board and they've found how easy it is to use, how quick it is in their briefings, and I've done some time studies with some of the teams saying, well, let's go around what you do originally, and it was like 15-20 minutes to go around and ask everyone what are they doing for the day. But then actually it's like, well, actually let's look at what we've got in the plan and we can do it in a matter of minutes.
I think Nialli's changed the way we do collaboration sessions in terms of the supply chain understand their programme better. They understand other supply chain partner or works on site their programmes. They understand key handover dates and milestones where we've got to be finishing areas, and it helps drive productivity as well.
So Nialli helps with identifying our roles and responsibilities on this project by giving you a clear visual timeline of what's up against you in the next few weeks. So with Nialli, you're able to visually see on a digital screen what are the next activities that you're going to be responsible for and how your activities tie into the different interfaces.
Having a standard product across the business means everybody can use it. It's much easier for everybody to get involved. Previous projects, we may have had 1 or 2 key users. My last project, every single one of my site management team was a user. So we had 8 people to share the load instead of the 1 or 2 who would have done it previously. So it makes a massive difference from team morale, team input. Everybody gets to play a part in it.
So our PPC was 40% in the analogue world. We're now consistently achieving 78% across all of our projects. That's, it's nearly a 40% productivity improvement.
We're able to take the information from across all our projects and start going back and working with supply chain partners in the areas that they need to improve. They're welcoming this evidence. They don't have this information themselves to hand to be able to know what they can do to help to improve, where they've got productivity improvements themselves.
The benefit of using Nialli is it records all the data which we can use. We can also extract PDFs and email out agreements to supply chain partners, whereas before you'd have to take pictures and you'd have to record via that, whereas Nialli automatically does the recording side, which is great.
So Nialli has brought a lot of confidence to the team in a way that we know that we are going to be given a certain area on a specific date. And that's a big thing in construction. If you don't have the access to an area, you can't start your work.
The first thing I'll highlight is a need for there to be a strategy and a vision within the business to recognise the value of standardisation of software, technology, the people and the business processes that are being utilised.
It's that standardisation is they know what to expect, and then they can start to get on board with it, and it becomes a lot easier for people to interact with because we keep doing it in the same way.
Where we want to get to is an integrated planning solution where we're linking the long range or long-term program with the short-term program, and then taking the evidence that we get from site to feed back into our long-term program. And then once we've got that benchmark data, we can then use that to inform future work.
The data is influencing future project strategy now because we're able to look at a project now and understand what we need to be successful. Supply chain, work areas, logistics, materials, design. We can use all of this information now and really prioritise what we need to do in the right sequence.
In the future, the ability to actually feed real-world data back into their future projects and future bids, as well as being able to capitalise on platforms like AI to interrogate that data further, are really exciting things that we're delighted to be a part of.
In my role as a business improvement manager, I wouldn't have been able to engage with our pre-construction and our design teams without a digital tool in place. And this is because of the adoption of hybrid working, people working remotely, some people been in the office. It's only now that we've got this approach in place that we're able to effectively collaborate.
We're now making our supply chain more productive, and we want our supply chain to choose to work with us and be part of this journey. Because of the consistency we've got and the way that we share that information, they're buying into the whole process, which is meaning that they're supporting us with the change.
The combination of both collaboration and digital tools has had a massive impact on the culture on site. Everybody from the person banging in nails up to the person setting the project strategy are all working towards a single goal, which is a huge mind shift for what construction traditionally was.